Ain't no half stepping. We are back. Ain't no half stepping. Marcus J, Big Rube, Carl Banks, and your man K Dub to get in on the discussion here. Hit us up 804-726-3430. 804-726-3430.
Or on the Facebook.
Please, or hit us on Facebook on the Facebook page.
Or Twitter.
Ain't no half stepping. On Facebook, Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. On Twitter, No Half Stepping, and that's NOHLF Stepping. NOHLF Stepping. Hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. Call us up. We are very interested in hearing what your comments are, what you want to get in on. Your comments are absolutely welcomed here on the show. We're going to move on, talk about some happenings in the National Basketball Association. There's been a lot talked about in the last few days with some of the trades that have happened in the NBA, and we're gonna start it off right there.
Yo, I was hurt when my boy D Fish got traded, but what's up with him and Gilbert Arenas out there?
Yo, D Fisher. What's ironic is that Fisher got traded to Houston, and he declined showing up, so they bought him out. And right now, the person that was the head of the players union to have a season, he's a cat that ain't got no job right now.
Ain't that the truth?
That's crazy, right there.
He just ain't want to play for him.
Bananas, man. I mean,
I don't blame him.
Not to try to clown him or anything like that. I'm sure he's a stand-up dude or whatever. He's one of the more likable dudes in the league. But it's kind of crazy that the Lakers kind of dumped D Fisher, as well as they gave up. Luke Walton and Jason Capono for Ramon Sessions. I really personally, I think that Kobe is, kind of pulling his hair out because granted he went to bat for Pau Gasol, but they go and let D Fisher go, and that's one of the most trusted dudes that he has on the team. So it's like it's a give or take.
I'm gonna go on record and say this, K Dub. Kobe would not win another championship without Derek Fisher. I said it here first.
You stupid.
He won't win another championship without Derek Fisher.
He lost his mind.
Lost his damn mind.
Really went all the way out there.
Fisher is the reason they got championship.
Have you lost all of your dreams?
He's clowning. He has to be clowning.
Because
he can't be serious, Dub. He can't be serious. Tell him why that makes you mad, son. Tell him why it makes you mad.
At the what I think is, I thought the Cleveland trade was beautiful because we gave up two people who didn't do nothing and a draft pick that we really won't gonna use.
That's cool. That's cool. I can
Don't understand
because those two individuals don't necessarily contribute on a night-to-night basis. But you brought Ramon Sessions in, who basically plays the same position as D Fish. And hey, Stevie Blake kind of is the odd man out with that. I thought that Derek Fisher's the type of dude that you want to keep around in the franchise, let him retire as a Laker.
True. And I really think that it had to come down for money, or Portland wasn't giving enough up for Blake. One of the two, because you're right. It doesn't make sense to keep Steve Blake. However, I think if we would have kept all three, the issues that would have started is who starts. And let's just be real. Ramon Sessions is a better point guard right now than Derek Fisher, except in crunch time. In crunch time, Derek Fisher is by far the better player.
But you know what, man? Listen, you know what trumps all of that, and a lot of it just depends on the type of basketball player that you enjoy watching or what have you. A lot of it comes down to loyalty. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because there's certain players. It's not all players, but there's certain players that you keep around in your franchise. Like myself and Marcus have this discussion that players like Patrick Ewing should not be affiliated with any other team other than the New York Knicks. Players like Derek Fisher should not really be associated with any other team. Granted, he was in Golden State. He should be affiliated with no other team other than the Lakers. Reggie Miller with Indiana, and so on and so forth.
I agree.
How sad was it, really? How sad was it at the end of his career to see Karl Malone in a Lakers uniform? You know what I'm saying? So
I don't remember. When I think about Karl Malone, I don't think about him as a Laker. I know majority.
Yeah, because he was terrible.
I don't think of him as a Laker.
No, of course we don't. But
as a Utah Jazz, first thing you think about when you think about Gary Payton.
Yeah,
Seattle Supersonics.
Seattle Supersonics, yeah.
Exactly, but you don't realize that he won a championship, if I'm not mistaken,
With the
Milwaukee.
Boston. He won in Boston.
Yeah, he won in Boston.
But okay, well, either or, you don't think about that. He won the ring somewhere else, but when you think about Gary Payton, bam.
Yeah, name.
You think about Seattle.
Same name, different place. That's all that is. Speaking of which, what's going on with the injury forecast? I mean, my man D Rose, he was out the other day. Hopefully, he'll be back soon.
D Rose has been out, man. He's had an assortment of injuries that's kept him out of the lineup, but Chicago still keeps chugging along. They 38-10 right now. D Rose is basically on a day-to-day basis. Jermaine O'Neal actually had wrist surgery yesterday, and he's out for the rest of the season. And just a real nagging injury. Andre Miller hurt his shoulder, and Danilo Gallinari fractured his thumb last night in the same game. You know, so that's that. Hey, but real quick, just to kind of clown, dude. Hey, don't y'all think that when you look at Andre Miller, he looks like a young Richard Pryor?
Yes, he does. Now, if we get that man some, what was Richard famous for? Some weed and some cocaine, run around real quick. There it is.
Yeah, he made that cocaine on the private part joke, which is actually really funny.
Hey, man, check this out. Last night, I don't know if a lot of people peeped out, but last night in Golden State, Chris Mullin got his jersey retired.
I read about that.
Big ups, Chris Mullin.
But the crazy thing about it is that nobody's really talking about the retirement of the jersey. They're talking about more that the fans booed the owner and would not allow him to talk.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I read about that this morning.
They really haven't been behind a lot of the moves that they made. You know, they just traded Monta Ellis, Kwame Brown, and F.A. Udo to Milwaukee for Andre Bogut and Steven Jackson. Who, when they got Steven Jackson, they traded him to San Antonio for Richard Jefferson.
Yeah, that place is crazy. Even the owner's fiance got upset to the point that she wouldn't talk to him for like 3 days. Seriously? First of all, who are you? You are my fiance. You don't own this. Second of all, you don't talk to me. You can not talk to my apartment in my house. You can get out too. The man's running the business. Yeah, let's just be real. Somebody had to go from that backcourt, and if I'm correct, Stephen Curry's a little hurt. So they had to get rid of Monta Ellis.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, you had a dynamic backcourt. Yeah, you had a dynamic backcourt, and one guy's injured, so your solution is to trade the other guy?
But here's the deal, man. Monta Ellis, for what he is a scorer.
But what did they get?
Well, hold on.
What did they get?
They got cap room. That's what they got. They got cap room.
All right,
because he was getting paid a lot of money. They're going to have a high draft pick.
Who's going to Golden State? Who's going to sign a free agent contract to go to Golden State? Who's doing it?
Never know.
Exactly. Nobody.
But I'm just saying.
What are you doing? Andrew Bogut, you gonna build your franchise around Andrew Bogut?
If I'm correct, Andrew Bogut is an expiring contract, right?
Andrew Bogut was a marginal center playing for the Milwaukee Bucks. You just traded away your point guard, your scoring point guard for Andrew
shooting
Bogut.
guard.
Yeah, but he could play point as well.
But who's really wrong here? The Warriors for trading Monta Ellis, or for the Bucks for trading away their best front court player?
No, well, I mean, I understand that, but it
was about money. That's all it was about.
We're looking at Golden State right now for the purpose.
We're not going to the playoffs. Who you might as well say we're in rebuilding mode by the great Mark Jackson. You know there. Yo, let's just be real.
Said the great Mark Jackson.
The great Mark Jackson.
He is great.
He is.
He is great.
And the thing about Mark Jackson is,
be careful now.
Watch yourself.
Well,
I'm not going to tell you. First of all, I don't talk out of place with Mark Jackson. I respect that dude.
I'm just telling you.
But let's just be real, man. Him and Monta Ellis weren't on the same page since he got there. You can see it. You can see it the way they play. You can see how many wins they have and all that. It's that simple.
Can you do that little shimmy that he does when he comes up the court?
No. I'm just saying. You know, Golden State didn't play well with him for the last 3-4 years. He didn't really mesh well with the coach. So somebody got to go. And you just signed Mark Jackson, so you're not going to keep running Monta Ellis.
There's no way that we can talk about Mark Jackson without thinking about the world's most famous arena, the New York Knicks. So K-Dub, You know it's time. The elephant in the room.
Are y'all gonna start crying again?
Well, no, we're gonna keep it real. As we, because if you ain't telling the truth, you have Steppin. As we sat here on these airways of Global Scale Radio last week on Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., K-Dub and your man Marcus J.
cried.
Very vehemently called for the firing, the resignation, the axing, the outright disposal of Mike D'Antoni and his sorry self in New York Knicks. And lo and behold, we wake up Wednesday morning, if you slept late, I guess we found this out after lunch, that Mike D'Antoni wasn't fired, K-Dub. What did he do? He quit. He didn't resign. We're not gonna let him get away.
No, he was fired.
We're not gonna let him get away with a nice word. He quit. K-Dub, what's up, man? New York Knicks, what's up? What you got to say? Because you hear I'm fired up right now.
I guess last week when I shouted it out loud, I get nervous. And, they went to practice Wednesday afternoon. They had the interview with Carmelo, and that was the day that he disputed any of the trade talks that he wanted to leave New York. And shortly after the practice, Mike D'Antoni resigned. And since then, they've been 3-0 under Mike Woodson, who actually got drafted by the New York Knicks back in the 70s.
1980.
They're currently on a 3-game winning streak, and anybody that watched the Knicks would definitely see a drastic change, improvement in how they play right now. So, it's real ironic that the day that we were asking for him to leave the building, the next day
he left the building.
He made it happen.
Yeah.